Hello everyone, welcome on back. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's the #1 tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. I'm Nigel Seeley. I'm joined by our senior ATP Tour handicapper, Mr. Sean Calvert. How are you, Sean?
I'm all right, I think, mate. Yeah, not bad.
How's the toe?
How are you? I mean, it's
how's the toe?
That's healed up now. That's fine. Been playing a couple of sessions of paddle tennis with Lagan, getting him into it. So it's just a nice thing to do. So yeah, the toe's all right, and it's been thrashing a 9-year-old at paddle.
I knew you wouldn't give in you wouldn't let up on your intensity levels. I knew winning is everything to Mr. Calvert. Not let.
I mean, he's 9. I just hit the ball back to him. It's not like I'm serving it and smashing it past him like the competitive dad on that sitcom. What was it? Fast Show. It's not that. It's just he's 9 years old. He's just, as long as you keep the ball in court, he's going to miss eventually. So, and obviously we played Natasha as well. She's shocking, as you can probably imagine. She blames all sorts. She blames like shoulder injury, back injury, all this other stuff.
So it's not just you in the Calvert household who has these ailments and injuries. All of you.
I don't have that. It's only this year, really. Anyone remembers the show last year? I wasn't really complaining. Well, I probably was complaining, but I wasn't complaining about illness or any injury. It's just this year I've had all sorts of various ailments. I'll be fine next year and the rest of this year. That's my prediction. But Lagan doesn't like playing me because I just keep the ball in court and stuff. But Natasha's shocking, so she misses shots, and he thinks he's got a much better chance of beating her, so he plays with her. But it's a fun game. It's paddle, a lot easier than tennis, less technical. So I'm enjoying it. Yeah. How's the
Good.
back? All right.
I'm fine, mate. I'm back, ready to go. No problem. This first time for me for weeks. I'm fine. I feel great. Absolutely great. Sunny out. Looking forward to New York next week.
Yep.
Not too worried about the journey. I was worried about the journey with the back. Now I'm thinking, what should I have really upgraded? Because I upgraded.
Still time. Sure, there's still time.
I've already upgraded. And I'm thinking, because I thought my back would be bad.
Upgraded to what? Really Are you in business or something?
I don't know, premium economy, I think. They couldn't get me in business class. And I think one of the flights, when they wanted 2,000, I'm not paying that.
No.
I've got to use up all my Athos points. I thought I'm not using that.
Goes without saying that I'm not in premium economy or business or anything. I'll be in. I do get the front row though, so I've got lots of space to stretch out. I pay extra for the front row, so I don't have to. I don't
like the front row seats. I find you slip. On my back slips down.
Well, that don't bother me. I just like it. It's well worth 90 odd quid each way to get the extras, particularly on the way back. 'Cause it's a night flight, isn't it? So you need to have a little bit of rest. So.
Premium economy was only 160 quid extra, which I thought wasn't bad. BA, not bad.
I don't think it's that much better. It just seems like you get a slightly bigger seat, and that's about it.
You get more free drinks.
Oh, I don't drink on planes.
Well, that's the.
Well, I do. I drink water. I don't drink anything alcoholic on planes. Just
more free drinks.
Dries me out. I'm just like completely dehydrated by the time I arrive anywhere. So that doesn't bother me.
Anyway, that's all to come next week. You'll be able to follow myself and Sean's adventures over at New York at Flushing Meadow at the US Open, which starts on Monday. And throughout the week, when the draw is made, we will have you covered here with the best bets on the tournament winner and the first round, and throughout the fortnight, which we're looking forward to starting in a week's time. But this time next week, we're talking about the US Open. Amazing. And we'll be heading out there for a few days as well. So lots of content coming your way. This fun, week, it's sort of like, I'm looking. I wasn't really looking forward to it. And now as it's getting closer, because of my back and stuff, and now it's getting closer, I was thinking, I'm looking forward to this now.
It'll be worth watching just for the contrast in accommodation levels.
I told you're going to come over. You're going to come over to my hotel for the day, and we do a podcast.
We might do a show if you've got
with the backdrop.
If you've got better Wi-Fi than you usually have, then we could probably do it.
These hotels are all nice visually. But when it comes down to things like
mine's not nice visually.
Not very good. Yeah, but you'll have the better Wi-Fi. That's how it works.
Probably won't have that either. We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, we've got lots of content coming your way, and obviously look forward to that next week. Lots of special podcasts, lots of videos, all the way throughout the week over in New York. Looking forward to that. Anyway, it's a little bit like the before the Lord Mayor's show, isn't it? This week, the tournament this week isn't that great. It's probably one of the poorest of the year.
It's the fifth slam. This what are you talking about?
I don't think it's as I said before, I don't think it's the 55th slam, but it's the Winston-Salem event. It's the 250 event in North Carolina. Unfortunately, again, today we're doing this podcast early, and this will be releasing early because the matches are all being played today. So there's nothing we can do of time recording and look ahead to tomorrow. So we're concentrating on some of the matches for today. We're looking at some late matches. Before we go into the matches, it's been a bit of a strange tournament, hasn't it? I mean, the weather pretty good. The conditions are what expected. All this second round with the 16 seeds coming. When I say 16 seeds, I mean the top seed is Sebastian Bay. Shows you the quality of the players. But our outright picks got through, no problem. Looking well. I thought they looked quite good last night.
I saw Shang.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, I saw that match. What was the other one? I can't remember now.
I think that was the only one actually. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I said a couple of them because I thought I might have forgotten one, so I wanted you to say, well, there's only one in play.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say I don't remember there being two.
To correct me.
I don't remember there being two, but it is quite early for me. It's before lunchtime, before 12 o'clock, so the brain isn't fully engaged as far as the memory's concerned. But yeah, Shang looked pretty good. As far as
looked really good.
I mean, Komasana wasn't up to much. Kind of disappointing, really, because he played so well at Wimbledon. In sort of quicker conditions than the clay that he normally plays on. But I mean, it wasn't disappointing for me, obviously, but from his point of view, it was disappointing. But I mean, the conditions do look quicker actually here than last year. I think there's a reason for that. I don't know whether they've resurfaced the courts here. They might have done because word is from the US Open that the tournament director wants the US Open to be medium fast this year. She's talking about a CPI of like 42, which is the same or very similar CPI to Cincinnati. If that's the case, then the US Open will be much quicker than it was last year, because it was kind of slow last year, and Winston-Salem was kind of slow last year. Winston-Salem is supposed to mimic the conditions of the US Open, so logic would dictate that if they are making the US Open quicker, which they are apparently, then you would think they would make this quicker as well. But it's Wake Forest University tennis courts. I don't know whether they've paid for all of them to be resurfaced. They might have done, because it does look quicker. Whether they're using the different balls, the Wilson US Open regular duty rather than the extra duty, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so, because they're using extra duty in New York. But in the daytime, certainly it looks quicker. Nighttime, I think with the sort of quite high humidity, it's not so much, kind of slowish at night. But yeah, it looks quicker. As far as the underdogs are concerned, it's been the worst round one in Winston-Salem since the first one in 2011. Only 3 underdogs won in the first round, hence why I didn't have a particularly great day on Sunday. So that's kind of surprising for Winston-Salem, having so few underdog winners. Round two is not normally great for dogs either. It only averages 30% underdog winners, but that's just I think that's just a slight anomaly as far as the trends are concerned. If we're looking at the weather, it's going to be about sort of 26, 27 degrees today, and the real feel is only 1 degree warmer than that. So decent conditions, sunny, lot of sun, not massively high humidity until a bit later in the day. Look, the conditions look pretty much perfect for playing tennis today. Yeah,
ideal weather conditions. Hopefully we replicate that in New York next week. But we'll look at some matches today. And the first match, season player yesterday, Moutet, fiery match yesterday, a real fiery match, and a lot of controversial. Yeah, I actually bet McDonald. I bet Moutet to beat McDonald, who was travelling back from the Cincy final, but didn't. He withdrew as he in air.
We had a knee injury.
Got a private jet. He got a private jet, didn't he?
Well, these guys are all millionaires, aren't they? I mean, they can. Well, not all of them, but the vast majority of them are. Maybe not all the ones at Winston-Salem, but most of them are. I think he had a knee injury during the doubles match, so I don't think it was the turnaround that made him quit. I think it was just the fact that his knee was injured during the doubles, and he didn't want to obviously play on it ahead of the US Open.
Yeah, but Moutet had a fiery match, didn't he, in his last round?
He always does.
That one, the replacement.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen Corentin Moutet play, then watch this match tonight, because he's just great to watch. There's always something going on. He's always jabbering at himself he does it in various different languages as well. He does it a lot in English, which is quite strange considering that he's French. He berates himself a lot in English, and then he'll flick back into French and start talking back to himself in that language as well. Several rackets normally go. There's at least 2 or 3 balls normally get smacked over the nearest stadium at some point. But there was a bit of an incident, wasn't there, in the match with it, his opening match yesterday. I think he had a bit of a row, didn't he, with the.
He fired the ball straight at him,
his
opponent, and he didn't like it. And then there was a bit of swearing going on, a bit of controversy before Moutet come through. He was by far the better player, and he's up against Safiullin. He was in good form. Safiullin obviously won the final in the Carry Challenger, as you said on Sunday. The graphic we have here, minus 130 for Safiullin, plus 105 for Moutet, isn't anywhere near the line at the moment. The line has absolutely moved massively.
Has it?
Safiullin is now minus 165. And Moutet is now currently plus 132.
Wow.
And the spread has moved from 1.5 to 2.5. And the total 22.5 is now minus 110 on the under, minus 115. So a very, very, very heavy move for Roman Safiullin in this match here, with Moutet, the underdog, now at plus 132, and the game line moved from 1.5 to 2.5.
There's been a lot of these moves, hasn't there, in Winston-Salem? I know it's a small tournament. It wouldn't take much money to shift a line. I kind of get that, but I'm not sure I understand this, really. I mean, I quite like Moutet's chances here, if his attitude is right, of course. It's at night, so conditions should be slower, which would suit Moutet. Safiullin, we know, likes the quick conditions. That's his game, hitting big, overpowering his opponents. Coming off a long week at the Carey Challenger with some long matches, including the final when he came back from 1-6, 1-4 down against another left-hander, Bellucci. Came all the way back from that score to win the title. Had at least one medical timeout last week that I'm aware of, did Safiullin. I just wonder if he's going to want to go deep again ahead of a major. He's just played a very tiring week, in hot conditions. Is he really going to want to do it again? And end up playing 2 really long weeks just before the US Open? I wouldn't have thought so. It's obviously that's a bit of guesswork, but I wouldn't imagine so. Last year here, he lost to Juan Manuel Cerundolo as a very, very heavy favourite. Another left-hander, of course. He was really poor. He was a bit tanky last year. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's the same again, given that he's played so much tennis. He's also playing his first match here. Moutet's had, obviously, that one match that you talked about to attune to conditions and get himself fired up as usual. And he leads the head-to-head 2-1, Moutet. He beat Safiullin on the clay. I think that was this season. A long match. They're all long matches. In fact, all 3 of the times they've played have gone the distance. 2 of them have gone to final set tiebreaks. All 3 of the matches have involved at least one tiebreak. And the one that Safiullin won was at Wimbledon on the grass. You would expect him probably to win that anyway on that surface, but that was also played 2023 when Moutet was really struggling on his backhand side because of a wrist problem. So I think there's a lot of reasons to not like. I didn't like him at minus 114. I certainly don't like him at minus 130. Safiullin. He's only got a 40% win rate against left-handers.
He's now minus 162, Sean.
Well, as we've just spoken in the last 2 minutes.
No. The graphic is currently minus 130. The line now is minus 165, plus 132 Moutet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he was. What was he when I saw it before? I think he was
minus 114 this morning. He's moved to then minus 130, and now he's moved to minus 165, all in the space of about an hour and a half. That's a massive move, minus 114 and minus 165.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the kind of person that is worried about these moves, especially someone like Winston-Salem, where it doesn't take much to move a line. It's no value at all at minus 165. As I said, he's got a 40% win rate against left-handers at main level and a 47% win rate against right-handers at main level. So there's a question mark about him against left-handers. He's already lost to this left-hander twice. We're relying on Corentin Moutet being in the mood, but now that line's shifted in our favour, plus 132, you said there. So I'm happy to take Moutet here. There's a lot to like about that price.
Moutet plus 132, and it's a moving market with Bet-Rivers, so you might even get a bigger price. Everyone in the world wants to be in Safiullin to win this match. He's going to overcome a 2-1 head-to-head deficit, and he did lose their last match in Rome.
They didn't.
So, Moutet.
I'm guessing they didn't see him play against Cerundolo here last year. I did. I think I'd back Safiullin outright, if memory serves me. And he was dreadful against Cerundolo. I know it was a lot slower there last year, but even so, I could feel a bit of tankiness coming on here.
Yeah, Better's probably looking at his form winning the tournament and the Carey Challenger and thinking, well, he's going to win this tournament, win this match, but it isn't. It might not happen. Doesn't happen like that all the time.
Those odds are, they're not great at all.
One match that hasn't lined. That match starts at 6:00 this evening. Remember, 6:00 tonight. That match starts. So make sure you head across to the Bet Rivers website, the app, and if you do have a bet, you'll be able to watch it live. on your tablet or your home device, so make sure you get across there to watch that match and place the bet early. 6 p.m. this evening Eastern time, that match should scheduled to start. Another match that is a late start at 7:50 this evening is Marton Fucsovics against Alex Michelsen. Michelsen obviously won the doubles. Well, he lost the doubles with McDonald, got to the final of Cincinnati. Shared that private jet with him. They went halves each. I mean, you could do that.
How do you know all this, by the way?
I saw them on Instagram landing on their plane. I'm an
How do you know they went halves each?
Well, I mean, you would go halves each, wouldn't you, mate? Do you want to go halves each on a private jet to New York? We can get it from Biggin Hill Airport if you want to go halves each. Do we go?
How much? Approximately?
I reckon probably about $8,000 each.
You're all right, I think. I'll stick with the BA economy.
Okay, Martin Fucsovics against Alex Michelsen. Alex Michelsen obviously got to the finals of the doubles, as I said there. He's minus 162 to beat Fucsovics, the journeyman. Plus 130 is Fucsovics. The spread is 2.5. The total is 22.5. If we look at the head-to-head, well, there's nothing to see because they've never played each other before. But this one here, Michelsen is a player that is going to have a big future in the game, I think, but he's young. What is he, 19 years of age? Just coming up to 20 maybe. Fucsovics is a tough opponent here, and plus 130 for the more established player may be a little bit of value.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see how old he is actually. He was born in 2004. Oh, it's coming up to his birthday.
20.
Yeah, it's his birthday in 5 days' time, in fact.
Happy birthday, Alex Michelsen.
So
He watches every day from the private jet. Hello, happy birthday.
Certainly does. Again, this is a tough turnaround, isn't it, for Michelsen after losing in the doubles final only, yesterday? Was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was. Yeah, so now he's playing Tuesday evening, i.e. tonight, in Winston-Salem. We've already seen McDonald withdraw, although, as I said, I think McDonald's withdrawal was more to do with the knee injury than any kind of issue with the turnaround. But I think it's undoubted that Fucsovics has to be the one that's better prepared for this match. He's played 3 sets here already. Slowish start against Taro Daniel, ended up running away with it. Fairly typical sort of in and out performance from Daniel as he tends to do, but good from Fucsovics in the end. Decent level, and statistically, there's no reason to have Michelsen minus 162. If you look at the last 12 months at main level on all surfaces, Fucsovics' slight advantage in the service points won and return points won totals 100 to 99. So a little advantage there to Fucsovics. If you look at outdoor hard only, there's the same advantage to Michelsen, 1 point. He's on 101 on his service points won and return points won total, and Fucsovics is on 100. So if you're looking at it statistically as what they've done this year at main level, it's very, very hard to split them. You certainly wouldn't make Michelsen minus 162 based on those stats. And if we look at what both of these players have done against the better players, Fucsovics is now ranked 79. So I've looked at the top 80. Michelsen against top 80 ranked players in the last 12 months, he's only got a 32% win rate. Fucsovics has got a 42% win rate. So all of this added up, it just seems very, very short on Michelsen. We're guessing here whether this kid wants to go deep here this week in Winston-Salem. He's had a long week last week. Okay, most of it was in the doubles, but he played a few singles matches. He played well last week. That's probably why it's minus 162. Played well against Sinner and Griekspoor. He obviously got to the doubles final, so I accept he's in good form, but is he going to want to go deep? Even if he does, he's got a very big disadvantage for me in the fact that he's had hardly any time at all to prepare for this match. So I think there's some value on Fucsovics here, plus 130.
I've seen Alex Michelsen a couple of times, and he's so inconsistent. You can watch him and think to yourself, this guy's going to be a top 20
He's young,
player.
He's only 19.
That's very raw.
That's kind of like, in a way, like Feast as well. You get some very, very good moments, good weeks, great weeks from Feast, and then some weeks where he's not really there. And that's kind of typical of a developing player of his age. So, yeah, all told, it's a good point. Minus 162 is, it's not for me. So,
also
particularly the week
ahead
before
of
major.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And it's his home major as well. I mean, he's going to want to go there and give it a go and go deep as far as he can in his home major. So, I mean, I suppose when you look at these tournaments, though, I mean, Wimbledon, for example, we have the tournaments before Wimbledon. The Brits always do quite well, don't they? in that warm-up tournament. So there is sort of a motivation.
Well, it's Eastbourne, isn't it? The week before Wimbledon. Sometimes
I mean, you have the tournaments like the Nottingham tournament, the Queen's Club. They always do them sort of warm-up tournaments. They always do quite well, the Brits in that tournament.
For them, they're big tournaments, aren't they? Because people like Fernley and Harris and all these guys, they don't get a chance to play at main level most of the time.
Yeah.
So for them, those are big tournaments. I would argue that this isn't a particularly big tournament for someone like Michelsen, who's very much established on the tour, week in, week out, plays 250s every week. It's a slightly different case there, but the Brits are probably more up for it because they don't get that opportunity only once. They only get that chance once a year, so slightly different. But yeah, I mean, I just can't see any value at all in that price on Michelsen.
Yeah, Michelsen currently minus 162. Fucsovics, the much more experienced player, plus 130. And I agree with Sean. I think that plus 130 looks a bit of value for Fucsovics. The penultimate match is another American who appears very, very short in the betting. It's Christopher Eubanks against Hugo Gaston. Now, this line has changed as well. Minus 175 was the price for Christopher Eubanks, and Hugo Gaston was plus 138, the spread at 2.5. It's now moved in favour of Gaston. Gaston is down to plus 123. Eubanks is minus 153, and 152, sorry, and the spread has moved to 1.5. The total games has gone up 1 to 23.5 as well. So money here for Hugo Gaston, which is not a surprise when you consider the season that Eubanks has had. And Gaston, I know he got beaten qualifying in Cincinnati, but he did reach the final in Kitzbühel in his last tournament. He's higher ranked a player as well. He's almost 60 places higher than his opponent here. And I think that plus 123 still is a little bit of value, but the plus 138 was too big for the Bet Rivers bettors.
Yeah, I think the value might just have gone a little bit here. I'm not sure I want to be in a situation in my life where I'm backing Gaston and Moutet on the same day. I mean, I've done this before. I remember in the past one day, years ago, I had Fognini and Pear on the same day. And never again. Take one. I'll probably take the wrong one. I'm taking Moutet, which probably means Gaston will win. But good mates, those two, Gaston and Moutet. Similar kind of temperaments, very kind of take it or leave it. This is how I'm playing today, whether you like it or not. That's kind of how they are. But if Gaston is, if his attitude is right, he's got a good chance. Conditions will be on the slower side at night. Maybe that's why the line's moved. You wouldn't have thought that would favour Eubanks. And even if it was played in quick conditions, Eubanks had big problems against Gaston in quick conditions on the grass in Halle when they played their only career meeting. Gaston was a set-up in that match. He was 4-1 up in the second set tiebreak, and then he lost 6 of the next 7 points to lose the set, ended up losing the decider. So that was a match Gaston should have won in conditions that are about as perfect as it gets for Christopher Eubanks. And as you said, Eubanks has struggled all season. That backhand of his is it's very, very suspect, very shaky. Against a left-hander like Gaston, obviously you're going to play more backhands, you would think, against a lefty than you would against a righty. But surprisingly, Eubanks has won 7 of his 10 main-level matches against left-handers. I was very surprised at that. I would have expected him to have a poor record at this level against lefties. But most of those matches, those 10 matches that he played against lefties, were last year when he was having his purple patch, when he was confident. It's not the 2024 vintage of Eubanks isn't the same as the 2023 one. This year, Eubanks at main level on outdoor hard, he's broken serve 6% of the time. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. I've never seen stats this bad. Even in the John Isner days, he was at least breaking 8 or 9% of the time. Sorry, yeah, breaking at least 8, 9, maybe 10% of the time, but 6%, and he's winning 26% of return points, which is obviously why he's only breaking 6%. As you said, Gaston's not too long off a final in quick conditions at altitude in Kitzbühel. Yes, it was clay, but it's quick. Got all the way to the final there, lost to Berrettini. His effort in Cincinnati wasn't great, though, in a pretty tame loss to Hal Munar. So you're asking yourself, is he going to put it in this week, Gaston? I mean, my gut feeling is he probably will for a match or two, because he's only played that one match on hard. You would think that he would need or like several more matches to get his game in order on the hard courts. But I quite like the over games here. Over 22.5 games, I believe, was minus 128. Yeah, minus 129 when I looked earlier. 11 of Eubanks' 16 main level matches over the best of 3 sets away from clay this year have gone over 22.5 games. That's 69% of his matches. Now, if you follow that logic through, 69% chance is 1.45 minus 223. So on that, you would favour the overs over 22.5 games. The slow conditions, it's not going to favour Eubanks. I think maybe the value's gone on Gaston, but I think the lean there is definitely overs over 22.5. Could even take over 2.5 sets if you wanted a juicier price.
Yeah, over 22.5 has slightly moved against us, unfortunately, Sean. It's minus 134 now for over 22.5.
Okay.
If you want to play it over 2.5
Still
sets,
statistical
plus
value,
128.
technically.
Yeah, we could go higher. We can go 23.5 at evens, or we can go, if we really wanted to go silly, we could go 29.5 at plus 240, and that would bring in our offer. We can get the double.
Wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
really high.
Last time they played 13, 26, 34 games. Last time they played, I know it was on grass, but even so, as I've said, Eubanks just doesn't break serve, so he's going to have a good chance today against a weak server like Gaston. But even so, I still don't trust his return game, so it's got to be overs for me there.
Yeah, it's a moving market. Head across to the Bet Rivers app or the website. You'll see the different prices on the total games. But if you want to take that over 29.5, as I said, that does bring in our offer. That is plus 240. And what that offer is show your support of Game Bet Match by making a bet with our promo code this month. Use the promo code Game Bet Match with Bet Rivers in the US, and you will get a 50% profit boost on any tennis bet of $2 odds or longer, which does include parlays. This offer is good through August 25th for eligible players. Maximum bet of $25 and a max win of $250. If you're a fan of this podcast, which I know many of you are, please show your support and use this great special. So when you get to the stage where you place the wager, it will ask you for a promo code, and you just input Game Bet Match, and you get 50% profit boost of any tennis bet of 2-1 or bigger. And if you want to play that 29.5 games, it comes in at plus 240. But that's the market Sean likes. It's the total games on the overs, and that match is scheduled to start at around about 6:30 p.m. this evening. Remember, all these matches are this evening, so you have very little time to watch the podcast and get the bets on. Our final match sees Tomas Marton Etcheverry up against Zizou Bergs. Etcheverry is minus 165 on the graphic. I have to check the website, see if it's still there. Bergs is plus 132. Looked good in his first round. Spread is 2.5. Total is 22.5. This match is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. Eastern time as well, so a little bit of time for you to get across to get there. Etcheverry is the number 6 seed. The money has come for Bergs, there's no doubt about it, in the early flurries in the betting market, but I'm going to check to see whether it's still there. So Sean, if you want to give us the argument, the price is exactly the same, minus 165 and minus 132. They've never met each other before, in case you're interested on the head-to-head.
Yeah, I mean, Etcheverry has been playing pretty well in what for him are unsuitably quick conditions lately, and he probably have too much eventually for Bergs, but I couldn't take him at minus 165. If you look at the stats are interesting, for particularly on the Bergs point of view. 2024 at main level, all surfaces, Etcheverry 54% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 102. Now Bergs is just 1 point behind that total on 101. But his win rate is only 33%. So there's only 1 point in it, but Bergs has only won 5 of his 15 main level matches. And I've looked a bit further into this because he's obviously losing matches that he should be winning. He shouldn't have that win rate if he's got a total like that, really. So in those 15 matches that Bergs has had at main level this season, only 5 have ended in straight sets. So 10 have gone to deciders. 6... Sorry, there's 5 setters in there as well, so it's slightly skewed. But 6 of those matches have gone to a deciding set, and he's lost 5 of them. So that kind of gives you an idea why his stats are so good, but his win rate isn't, because he's lost 5 matches there that have been very, very close and gone to a deciding set. The one that he won was this week against Opelka, which I think was 7-6 in the third, wasn't it? So he's been...
Good performance. He played well in that match.
Yeah, it's a very good win for him. I mean, just to dig that out, because he's obviously not been very good in the key moments of matches, i.e. the deciding set, the latter stages. Is that a fitness thing? It could be with Bergs. I'm never totally convinced about him physically. It could be that he's fading physically towards the end of matches. it could be a similar situation to Zhao Munar, who's lost a ton of matches in the final sets, late in final sets this year. I think with him, that's a mental thing. It could also be a mental thing with Bergs as well. He's just kind of not got the mental drive to kind of get over the line. He's faded a little bit too quickly. That could also be the case. So the results should be better, in short, for Bergs than what they are, based on his stats. The other question is one about motivation. Is Etcheverry going to want to go deep this week? Just days before the US Open, but you would say yes, probably, because he made the final in Lyon earlier this year, which is a week before, just days before, isn't it? Days before the French Open, which is his major, you would think. You would imagine that Etcheverry, if you asked him which major he's going to go best at, you would think in a heartbeat he would say French Open. So he's gone deep in his favourite, just ahead of his favourite major. So you would think that he would do it here as well. No reason why he wouldn't. It's a tough one. It's a tough opening match for Etcheverry, this. I think over 2.5 sets again here, based on what I've said about Bergs, is a very good option at plus 130 with Bet Rivers. Or, bearing in mind that Bergs has a tendency of losing these close and tight matches, the 2-1 to Etcheverry is of interest here as well at plus 280 with Bet Rivers. So a few options there. It's a tricky one, that, but I think those are the betting options that I would side with.
Yeah, both of those prices still available on the Bet Rivers website, alongside about 36 different markets available on the matches in the second round of Winston-Salem. It's a round where the big seeds come in, 16 seeds come in. It's the place in the last 16 that are up for the winners, and the matches are coming quick and fast because of the US Open. It's a Saturday final, hence the reason why all these matches are this evening. So when the podcast drops, you've got to head across to Bet Rivers early to make sure you get those prices and get on, because otherwise it's going to be too late. Sean, what's the official place?
The official place, I'm going to take Moutet to beat Safiullin. Now that price has gone up. I think you said plus 132, didn't you?
Yep. On
Corentin Moutet to beat Roman Safiullin, and I think there's some value on Fucsovics as well, plus 130, 2.3 in decimal to beat Michelsen. Yep,
don't forget, if you want to put them in a parlay, you can use that for the game bet match special and get 50% profit boost on your parlay by going to the website, posting the promo code GameBetMatch, get 50% on any bet, on a tennis bet bigger than 2-1 odds. So the parlay will play a nice price with a bonus as well, be either very nice if those two cashed. It's a busy week here on Betting Weekly Game Bet Match on the tennis. Myself and Sean will be back tomorrow with matches at Winston-Salem. We have the draw for the US Open on Thursday. So on Friday, we're probably going to have a tournament winner show. And then probably on Saturday or Sunday, a look at the best, well, Saturday it'll have to be, a look at the best bets for round one. So it's tennis all the way now, as well as Rory Giovanni looking at the women's draw as well after the draw on Thursday as well. So lots of tennis action coming your way. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, and also Betting Weekly WTA. Make sure you also subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Betting Weekly Studios, for all the content there. There's a lot of soccer content coming your way as well. The first week of the Premier League, we have some big tickets there, and second week on match day will be covered on Thursday, as well as all the European soccer as well. And also keep us follows on our Instagram page and our Twitter page at Because We Win, and we're going to have some fun and games in New York at the various different locations around the town and different hotels that we'll be staying in. Airbnb should be good fun along the way there, and some live podcasts as well, and live content courtside, I'm sure, with bets exclusively on the Instagram page. Sean, thanks very much for your time. Have a good day. Take care. Good luck with your wages. Take care as well. Remember that profit boost as well. Game Bet Match and the promo code for a 50% profit boost if you want to play the parlay on two Sean's picks today. Take care.